Would you mute it on YouTube so don't feedback?
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. All right, what's going on, everybody? What is going on? We are live Conversations with Rashon on Friday. Super excited about this topic. We are going to dig deep into dividends, dividend stock, and everything dividends. But first, let me cover some things. Thank you so much for watching, for participating, for being a part of this. If you are not a subscriber of this channel, please hit that subscribe button, go hit that notification button, and then hit that share button on your Facebook, on your Instagram, your Twitter. Let people know we are live right now. It's about to go down in our little chat room going on YouTube today. I'm super excited that we have two of our guests from our Grow Network. Really quick, let me talk about what the Grow Network is. Gaining realistic opportunities for wealth. We are bringing people together that is trying to gain wealth, not just for themselves, but for their family, because the real definition of generational wealth, real wealth happens in the third generation, not the first generation, not while you're alive, not while your kids is alive, but while your grandkids is alive. And if you're able to create, build, or put a foundation together of something that can be passed on 2 generations after you, you are doing something. And that's what the Grow Network is about. But today we are going to be talking about dividends. And I'm happy to have 2 members of our Grow Network, of our partnership, of our circle, because your network is your net worth. For real, y'all. So without further ado, I want to introduce our guests. Ladies are always first in my book. So Shonda, tell them who you are, what you do. Then we'll move to our next guest.
Hi, I'm Shonda. I am a realtor with Keller Williams. I also make candles, so please check me out at kdccandles.com. That's me in a nutshell.
Awesome. We are glad to have you for this conversation around dividends. Sean, my guy, let them know who you are, brother.
What's going on? I'm Sean. You catch me at The Good Credit Coach on Instagram. I'm also the owner and CEO of Mature Credit Specialist. I help form your business as well, business formation, and build business credit. So get at me.
That's great. Excellent. Glad to have you guys. Listen, we are here every Friday at 2 p.m. and we will consistently have guests that have the same questions that you may have. They are working on your behalf. They're going to ask questions that may be going on in your head consistently. And I am here as the financial professional to knock those questions dead for you guys and give you more perspective on the topic. Every Friday, we are going to hit a different topic of finance, of inspiration, or whatever it is that you're looking for. So we're super excited. If you want to be a part of this conversation, make sure you go to experiencesean.com and join the Grow Network. But man, we're going to dig deep into dividends. We're not going to even belabor the topic any longer. The market is going up, it's going down. People want to know, should I invest? Should I hold? Should I wait? What should I invest in? And what I love about today's topic, when you talk about dividends and dividend paying stock companies, right? We're talking about having some type of sustainability with investing. Hopefully you guys had the opportunity to read our blog that was posted on Wednesday. If you haven't, again, experiencesean.com/blog. Go ahead and read that. We compare what dividends can do for you as an investor. Right. So what asset do you have in your household right now that pays you back on a quarterly, monthly, yearly basis? Right. So how I looked at it was to the best of my ability, I compared it to a Lyft or Uber driver who has that car. When you're using that car to gain dividends or some type of income from it, or that t-shirt designer that owns the t-shirt press, so they don't have to go out and pay for someone to do the actual work. All they need is the material because they own the asset already, and then they're going to make money off of the asset that they own. So that's the same thing like when you're owning a share of a company, a stock. a company that may give dividends. So what is a stock? I'm going to be using stock and company interchangeably, but throughout today. And as you may notice in the blog, I also use stock and company interchangeably. A stock is an ownership share of a company. So if you own stock in Apple, you own a piece of Apple. So when I say stock, I may be talking about the company of Apple or the company of Johnson and Johnson or the company of McDonald's, because you own a piece of that company if you own stock in that company. What in the world is a dividend? A dividend is a distribution of a company's earnings to its stockholder as a thank you. It's that simple. Not all companies give out dividends. And the companies that do give out dividends don't have to give out dividends. But here's one thing that I can share with you about a company that gives dividends out consistently. In most cases, that means that that company is a stable company who is past what we call the growth phase. They understand what their mission is, they have their model, and they're moving like a smooth selling train. And they know that they're going to have X amount of earnings and X amount available to give back to the stockholder, the shareholder, the investor as a thank you at the end of each quarter. So that's what dividends are. But you know what? I want to dig deep to see what you guys want to know about dividends. So let's get started. Shonda, you are one of my great friends, and you are very engaging on social media. And anytime we post a question or a comment, you're right there. And I remember when I said, look, y'all want to know what dividends? She's like, yeah, hands up. Let me know what is dividends. So what is give me one of the questions that you had the moment I posted about dividends. Every time I'm posting about the dividends that I'm receiving, what is a question that comes to your mind that I can answer for you today?
So I do have stock, and I do see them from time to time, like, oh, you have like 31-cent dividends. I'm like, oh, that's great. That's awesome. Don't know what it is. So you kind of answered that first question for me, because it was kind of like, okay, I don't know what it is, but sure, you can put it in savings and let it grow and do whatever it does. But Is that the right thing to be doing? Like, what should I be doing with those dividends?
That is a great question. So what should you be doing with the dividends? And when you're talking about investing period, first of all, let me congratulate you on taking the first step to wealth by actually having a stock portfolio. And you know, one of the things that we may not realize, or everyone may not realize, is you don't have to be 50, 30, 45. You don't have to have a huge amount of money to be a stockholder, to have a stock portfolio, especially in today's day and age where you have Cash App and Stash and Robinhood, where you can buy what's called fractional shares of a company's stock, right? So to answer your question, Shonda, an investment and investing as a whole, but especially when you're looking at the additional return on investment that you're receiving from your portfolio, you really want to understand, why do you have that stock portfolio? What's the objective or goal behind that stock portfolio? Is it something that where you're trying to get short-term growth for vacation next year? Is it something that you're putting to the side because you want to have that as a down payment for a new home? Or for you out there, guys who have family and children, is that a portfolio that you're putting to the side for a college education, or something that you want to gift over to your child when they turn 18 or 21? Or is it an additional form of retirement savings for you? Because that's the first question that you want to answer in order to say, okay, well, what should I be doing with this? Because to be honest with you, Shonda, that answer is different for everybody, right? But the general answer that I would say, generally, what should you be doing with your dividends? If you have a stock portfolio, generally you want it to grow as rapidly as possible, right? So if we're looking for growth in our stock portfolio, when you receive those dividends, that extra 31 cent, that extra dollar, whatever it is, you want to what's called reinvest it back into your stock portfolio. So that 31-cent dividend will buy 31-cent worth of Apple, if that's where it came from. 31-cent worth of McDonald's, if that's where it came from. And if you automatically have your dividends set to be reinvested and you're getting 31 cents 4 times a year, then that means you're putting about $1.24, if I did my math right, $1.24 a year back into that stock without having to worry about the ups and downs and growth of that stock, right? You're naturally growing your stock portfolio from the money that's being added from your dividends. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So my general answer to your question is reinvest it, but that may not be what you specifically out there may need to do, because you may have a separate goal for your money. But generally, if we have a stock portfolio, we want growth. And that's the quickest way to grow your stock portfolio, is by reinvesting your dividends. Right? So let's move on to my guy, Sean. A lot of you guys, well, if you don't know me or don't know Sean or Shonda or anybody, what I will say is Sean is a childhood friend. I've known this guy since we was what, 9, 10? Yeah. We the guys from around the block that made it out. I'm joking, but I'm not joking. But what questions do you have, Sean? Again, another person, by the way, who, like he said earlier, is a credit specialist. So he is savvy when it comes to understanding what it means to be financially stable and having financial security, and the importance of having good credit, great credit versus bad credit, and how that can affect your life. That's what Sean Brown does within a multitude of other things. He's going to be your DJ at the wedding, but he's DJing your wedding after he made sure your credit was good, so you could have enough money to leverage and pay for that wedding. Right now you can pay him to DJ. Congratulations. What questions do you have around dividends and dividend paying stocks, Sean?
I got that trading power. I might even offer some type of deal where you get your first month of credit free. You book me as a DJ or something.
There you go.
That
one-stop shop is real.
Now, I do want to say this. A lot of times you hear a famous phrase, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, right? Mm-hmm. So, which is true. Now, me, I know I'm financially literate. I'm financially literate and I'm financially sound. I'm good with my finances. But the rich get richer because what? Because they keep on going. No matter if they're rich already, they want to stay rich. They want to keep their money, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm on my path to try to get my 7 streams of income. You know what I mean? Or more. I don't know about dividends yet. I know a lot about finances. I don't know about dividends yet. So my first question to you would be, what are cash dividends and how do you attain them?
That's an excellent question. So I'm going to answer your question 2 ways. I'm going to compare cash dividends to stock dividends because I feel like that's the best way to answer your question. Okay. But first, I want to touch on something that I know that both you and Shonda are working towards, that's 7 streams of income. Shonda being a realtor, understanding the importance of passive income and investing in property and what property and real estate can give you and gain for you over the long haul when you talk about gaining realistic opportunities for wealth, right? So I didn't want to move forward without establishing the importance of what you just said and what both of you guys are doing on an everyday basis. And listen, nothing worth having ever comes easy, right? It's a process. It's a marathon, not a sprint to this wealth thing. But once you get there, like you said, Sean, like I know Shonda's doing, when Shonda sells that house, she's not good for the year. Oh, I'm done. I sold that house. Yeah, I'm partying. She gonna party. She's definitely gonna party, but then she gonna make sure at that party, she got prospects, she got other colleagues, she got more people there, so that way she can get to the next bag, right? So when you talk about, the question is, what are cash dividends? Cash dividends is very similar to what Shonda was saying. It has an effect on the value of the company. So if the company has additional earnings and declares a dividend to its stockholder, it will declare a dividend in most cases. Generally, it will declare a dividend in cash. So like Shonda mentioned earlier, how she sees her messages and her emails, you receive 31 cents. You receive $1.28. The other day when I received $2 from the medical company, that I don't even know the name of it, but I saw they gave $8 in dividends a year, so I got their stock right before the dividend date.
Okay.
But so that's the most common form of a dividend that a company will pay out on a quarterly or biannually or annual basis. Does that make sense, Sean?
Yeah, is that only with stocks?
What do you mean? The cash dividends? Is it only? No, there's so many different, you have commodities, you have REITs, which is real estate investment trust. You have a multitude of different investment vehicles that would pay out dividends. But in reference to our conversation today, we're just going to focus on stock because we could be here forever if I talk about all the different forms of dividend income you can receive. But that's an excellent question. No, dividends are not just available with stocks. They're available with so many other investment vehicles, including commodities and REITs and even on property, right? So there's a multitude of different forms of dividends, but in reference to stock paying dividends, the most general form of dividend is paid out in cash. The second most popular form is through stock. And so that's how I said I wanted to answer your question twofold, because in order to talk about a stock dividend, we have to talk about a cash dividend, because a stock dividend is very similar to a stock split. So I don't know if you guys were able to catch my live a couple of weeks ago in reference to the Apple and Tesla stock split, right? So when a company splits, it dilutes the share price, but not the value of the company. So using Apple, who did a 4-to-1 split, if Apple was worth $400 before the split and you own 1 share, after the split, you own 4 shares at $100. So your share price is less, but the value of your portfolio is the same. With the stock dividend, you may receive a percentage of the share price as a dividend, which in a sense is very similar to a stock split. It will dilute the price of the stock by the percentage of the dividend. So I'm going to use 1% because I want to keep the numbers simple. So if the stock is worth $100 and they give you a 1% dividend, then you now are going to own 1.1 shares of that stock for $101. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you for clearing that up, because I see that on my thing and I was like, what do they mean 1.1? I don't know what that means, but okay, we want to just keep it alive and keep it moving.
Yeah, so
thank you for clearing that up.
1/10 share.
Okay. Good stuff.
Yes. So Sean, and what you do every day and the conversations that you have, and I know you said you're looking to gain multiple streams of income, and you've identified, right, through social media, through whatever, that dividends may be a form of income that you may look to add to one of those streams. What enticed you, or what connected you to want to learn more about dividends?
Just the 7 streams thing. So for me, I know like they have interest as a stream of income, as like it could be a stream of income. That's when your money kind of sits in your bank in savings. To me, that doesn't earn too much for you, but when you check your savings account, depending on what bank you with, you can see every month they give a dividend back. And so I was like, I always see that. I don't know what it is though. I just know they keep giving me money. You know, let me get on here and find out, you know, and see how I can take advantage of this. You know what I mean? Learn more and scale it up.
Awesome. And Shonda, what made you begin? Well, first of all, if you don't mind answering this question, when did you start building a stock portfolio? And and what attracted you to build a stock portfolio?
So I started probably beginning of the year, and it was just I wanted to get into the stock market. I was like, I've never done it. Why not? I have the money. We're in the house. There's nothing else to spend money on. Why not the stock market? So I wanted to just get into it. So Robinhood was just very easy to work, very easy to use. So I jumped in it on there, and I just been sitting there, hanging out, buying stuff.
Awesome.
So, yeah, that was it.
And so
But
now
I do have a question for you.
yes.
So if we wanted to pick companies that give out dividends, how will we find out what are the best companies to get?
That is an excellent question. And you know what? I had the link and I lost it. There's a link I'm going to share on the comments after this live, where it specifically breaks down the highest paying dividend company in order. And so you want to look at, I'm not going to go deep because when we talk about novice investing, we could talk about dividend yield and going to Yahoo Finance and looking at the dividend yield and trying to do that math. But then you'll be stuck back in finance class. Then you don't want to go to finance class. And we don't want you to have to go to finance class. So we're going to make it easy for you. There's a website. I'll put the link to the website in the comments where they do the math for you already. They tell you that McDonald's gives a $5 annual dividend. They tell you that Johnson & Johnson gives a $3.28 annual dividend. They tell you that typically Apple gives a $2 annual dividend. So you can look and know that typically those companies are going to pay out quarterly. So if they give a $5 dividend, then you're getting, what's that, $1, $1.25 a quarter, right? And so you know you're going to get $1.25 a quarter. So that's the simplest way to figure out, you know, what company should you be investing in that gives dividends. And again, typically, if they're giving a dividend and they've consistently given a dividend, and that's what that website will show you too, how long they've given a dividend, if they've missed dividend payments, meaning they gave it this year, but they didn't give it last year. So that means they weren't financially as stable last year as they are this year. So maybe that might not be a company, if you're not familiar with that company, that you want to invest in right now, right? But you have companies like McDonald's and Johnson & Johnson that consistently pay out dividends. Apple are now consistently paying out dividends because they're beyond their growth period. So when you look at those companies, this website is going to make it simple for you guys. So I'll make sure for all of you who are watching, and for you, Shonda, that at the end of this live, I'm going to put it in the comments. This website tells you exactly how much the company gives, and it updates it as it changes, because it does change. It's not a consistent thing, because sometimes it changes based on the financial stability of that company, right? There's a multitude of companies like GNC that that decided to defer their dividend payments for the second quarter because of COVID. But then there's companies like Cisco and AT&T and Walmart that still paid out their dividends. So, you know, it's really looking at the consistency of when they pay their dividends, because that lets you know a little bit as a novice investor what their financials look like and how much they pay. So again, I'm a goal guy, right? A lot of you guys who are watching, and YouTube definitely know I'm a goal setting guy. So everything's based off of goals and objectives. So if I have a goal that by the end of 2021, I want to receive $100 in dividends, I'm going to look at the highest paying dividend company possible. When I saw McDonald's gave $5 in dividends, I'm like, this is great. I'm going to go buy 5 shares of McDonald's, and I'm going to get $25 a year next year in dividends from McDonald's. So boom, I can mark that off. I got to go find $75 more of a dividend paying company to ensure I can get my $100 a year in dividends. So going back to what you said, Sean, and for both of you guys talking about those 7 streams of income, it doesn't sound like a lot, but imagine getting an additional $25 a quarter and forgetting about it just because you made an investment a year ago. Right? Like, Sean, how would that feel for you? You know, and Shonda, I'll go back to you actually. When you get that 31-cent notification or that 120 notification, how does that feel? How does that make you feel?
listen, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. This is great. Sure, put it in a savings. I don't need a card because, like, oh, do you want a card? No, I don't need a card. I don't need any cards. Just do whatever you guys want to do with it. I know where to find it if I need it, I guess. Like one of those things.
Yes. And Sean, when you get those dividend notifications, how does that make you feel?
I don't feel me feel no type of way, honestly. I'll be like, cool. It sounds weird. I'm not like I'm set on financial goals and 7 streams of income and everything like that, but I'm not like a big money guy. Like I don't care.
Gotcha.
The quality of life is
More
what I'm
important.
looking for. You know what I mean? When
Yeah.
I see some dividends coming, I'm like, oh, okay. And I just go on about my day.
My guy Sean over here dropping gems. He said the quality of life is more important than money. That is so true, right, Shonda? We talk about that all the time, right? When we get together. The quality of life, like if you build the quality of life that you want, money will come. That's what wealth really is. Are you rich or are you wealthy? Right? Because you can be rich. Riches go. They come and go back and forth, right? You can have them one day and you can lose them the next day. Wealth is sustainable. Wealth is, I'm not going to say forever, but wealth is a lot more long-term than riches are. And if you focus on your quality of life, if you focus on your passion, your purpose, your agenda, your vision, and you know you're doing it for good, you will be rewarded, right? If you stay consistent with it. If you want to be an investor, if you want additional income and dividends, if there's a purpose behind you being on this conversation right now and listening in and reading the blog and learning more about dividends, and it's because you need to be consistent with it, right? Consistently purchasing stocks or partial stocks that have dividend paying return on investment. So that's great. My man Sean dropping gems. Quality of life is more important than money. And that's true.
Broke is a mindset. Am I right? Broke is a mindset.
Say that again, Sean. Say it again.
Money doesn't buy habits.
Yes, sir.
You gotta learn to manage what you have. That's why the people who get the broke, they get the lottery and then they go broke again. It's mindset. They had a broke mindset. Get your mindset right first.
I love it. I love it. So I want to take one more question from both of you guys, and then we'll wrap this up. And again, I like to give deference to our ladies. So Shonda, if you have another question, if not, that's great. Comment, whatever. What do you have for us?
I don't. I have asked my questions. I got my answers. Like I'm good.
Awesome. And I hope you guys out there got something right from this. And Sean, do you have any additional questions or comments in reference to dividend stocks?
Not to dividend stocks specifically, just dividends, but that's a whole nother episode. A lot of the questions that I did have about dividend stocks, you answered for me, brother.
Awesome. That's great. So listen, guys, every Friday at 2 p.m., Conversation with Rashon. If you want to be a part of the conversation, you can. All you have to do is be a part of the Grow Network. That's it. And you see the shirt that I have on? You see, it's a Connected Cooking. Premieres October 7th right here on my YouTube channel. I can't wait. We are connecting family, finance, food, and fun. A multitude of different guests. I've had a ball putting this project together for you. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you hit that subscribe button now. We are on here every Monday, shooting inspiration to you, every Tuesday with some finance tips, and every Friday live at 2 p.m. right here. And starting October 7th, you're going to get some food. You'll be able to smell it through the computer, through the phone, through the TV, however you watch it. I promise you, you're going to smell it, and it's going to be amazing. Shonda, Sean, thank you guys so much for joining me today on Conversations with Rashon. Oh man, you guys have any last words before we wrap?
Once again, money doesn't buy better habits. Keep that in mind.
Yes, sir. Shonda?
I thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you guys for joining. In the meantime, keep your head up, believe in yourself, and remember, you are only one opportunity away from achieving your wildest dreams. We'll talk to y'all online. Have a good one.